moving quickly. Another handoff to Rankin. Rankin finds a hole. He's at the 30. Makes it to the 20. He's got one man to beat. Rankin walks into the end zone. Into the backfield. Braden Wright looks over top. He's going to try to find a man. He's got Alec Tatum. Tatum bobbles it, but he's in the end zone. What a connection between Braden Wright and Alec Tatum. Handoff to Rankin. Rankin right up the middle, and he's in the end zone for a Bearcat touchdown.
That the views expressed in today's show do not reflect the views of KZLX, KNWT, or Northwest Missouri State University. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome back into the weekend sports kickoff here on X106, also streaming live on the KNWT Channel 8 Facebook page. Jacob Blair, Sam Steinmeier, Derek Campbell, Sam Reeves here with you as we move to week 2 of the NFL season. Look at the games around the NFL this week, and coming off of week 1, I think a lot of teams, a lot of work to do, especially I think we saw preseason. Not having any preseason games definitely play an effect into several teams. But, you look around the NFL, what does everyone, kind of jump around here, but what are we looking for? What do we want to see in week 2 from the NFL season?
Well, obviously, I'll just start off. Obviously, I want to see the Cowboys pick it up.
Shocking.
Yeah, that one's a real shocker.
Other than that, looking around the rest of the league, I look to see the Cardinals put a beat down on the Washington football team. They proved that they are a very good team by beating the 49ers. So now you're facing an inferior team in the Washington football team. I mean, you gotta beat them down, and I think that's what's going to happen. Also, Buccaneers, a lot of people maybe think the Buccaneers-Panthers is an easy win for them, but the way the Panthers played against the Raiders, that might be another struggle for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
I kind of want to see like the teams like the Jaguars and the Cardinals to stay hot and see if they can actually show like that they're potentially a candidate to make it into the playoffs this year. So that's what I'd like to see.
That would be
one of those teams that you mentioned.
Cardinals for sure. Yeah. I'll be interested to see. I'm interested for this Broncos-Steelers game Sunday. The Broncos coming off of a tough loss against Tennessee. The Steelers, see if they're a legitimate team. I mean, they have a lot of pieces. Juju, I think, is going to play. He was questionable earlier this week. James Conner, somebody else questionable running back for Pittsburgh. That should be an interesting game. And then the Sunday night game I'm very intrigued with as well, between the Patriots and the Seahawks. One of, I think, the best games on paper of the week, actually, Sunday night. See what Cam Newton can do against an actually good defense in Seattle. And Russell Wilson had an unbelievably good week 1. See if he can carry that over against a tough secondary in New England. Even without Patrick Chung, that defense is still good. So I'll be interested to see what happens Sunday night.
I'm kind of with Derek and looking at some of the teams that surprised us in week 1. What do we see from them in week 2? Do we see the Jaguars fall on their face against the Titans? do the Cardinals come back and do they continue starting their season well? And that's an interesting game to me because you look at Washington, played well. Cardinals got the big upset. 2 1-0 teams we expected to be 0-1, trying to go 2-0 in that one. Plus, they're still it's still week 2, so still a ton of questions to be answered here. One game I'm looking at as well is the Ravens and Texans, and see it's a terrible start for the Texans season, going up against the Chiefs, turning around, playing the Ravens, but seeing if they can compete a little bit better in that one than they did against the Chiefs. But we'll now start going through and looking at our picks. And this year, normally, we only each semester we have our pick competition, and we only pick 5 or 6 games a week. This year, we're going to do every game of the NFL season simply because without Bearcat sports, without other things going on, have a little bit more fun here on the weekend sports kickoff.
Plagiarism going on. Yeah, maybe the day-to-day picks. We did that yesterday.
Well,
I'm just joking.
I know.
Yeah, but
it's pretty obvious you guys do that because you both went 9-6 last week.
10-6.
Well,
10
you
and 6
might
in
have done
ours,
that on
9 and
on
6 in this.
we don't pick Thursday Night Football.
Yeah,
here, Sam.
we pick Thursday Night Football because
So
we can.
Well, I'm talking about the Weekend Sports Kickoff standings here.
Yeah.
We're
9
still
and
ahead,
6.
tied definitely.
You two are 9 and 6.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm undefeated.
Grant and I are 7 and 8. And
Derek.
Derek, as he mentioned, he's undefeated at 0 and 0.
And wherever I end up is probably wherever Sam is going to end up because yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday on Day-to-Day Picks, we have the exact same picks.
Well, that's boring.
I know, but I mean, it's not our fault.
So it really
I mean,
is.
Whatever
It really is Sam Squared today.
It really
It is.
is.
Okay.
It is, yeah.
I mean, but whatever you're feeling, that's what you're feeling.
You know what,
and
you know what the
that's
most?
where you
You know what the most surprising thing for me last week was our consensus picks were 4 and 1.
Wow, that is very surprising. Who was the one loss? Do you know?
Either I think it was
Colts.
Washington or
Oh,
Colts.
the
Oh, yeah,
Colts.
Grant took Washington. Yeah.
It was the Colts. Everyone picked the Colts.
Grant was 2-0 on an island, I believe.
I think he pointed that out in the group meet.
He did.
I'm for the
yeah.
underdog in some games.
All right.
I've got all of Grant's picks. We'll make sure to get those out this week. We'll start with a barn burner of a game. The 0-1 Giants up against the 1-0
Yeah.
Bears. To me, this
Cool.
is one of the few games this year the Bears will be heavily favored, 5.5-point favorites. Sam, over there in the far corner.
Interesting game. Your barn burner is exactly the way I would describe it.
Shootout.
I will not be watching this game.
I can't believe the over-under is 42. I feel like that's high.
That
That is
high.
very
That's
high.
very high. Yeah, no, this game is just ugly. We'll be interested to see what Trubisky can do in week 2. Daniel Jones as well. Interesting quarterback matchup. Not exciting at all. Picking the Bears.
I'm going to go with the Bears also just because with
Pause there, like I thought you were going to take the Giants.
I did. I thought about it there for a second just because.
So why would you do that?
Because I don't know if Shaquan Barkley, man. I just don't know.
Saquon
Is he gonna have? Is he gonna have another down week like he did last week, or is he gonna bounce back? Hopefully, but with what I saw from the Bears, they looked pretty well put together, and so I think I'm just gonna stick with the Bears.
Yeah, I think Saquon Barkley has another down game because his offensive line is terrible, and this Bears defense is good. So I don't think it's the quality of Mitch Trubisky that's going to get them this game. It's going to be Khalil Mack and the defense. The Bears win in a, as you said, barn burner of a matchup.
Yeah, for me, first team to 10 points wins this game. The Bears are the ones to do that. I'll take the Bears. Congratulations. Well, not this year. We'll see. We'll see if we've bucked the trend, but normally that means the Giants get the win. Everybody on the Bears. Grant picks the Bears as well. Game 2. I made you wait last week, Sam. We'll get to it early this week. Falcons
Noon game.
at the Cowboys. The rare Cowboys noon game. Don't see that too
No, you
often.
really
So that means I'm not going to be able to watch it, which kind of sucks. But
Both teams 0-1. Dallas 4-point favorites. Hand it over to the resident Cowboys fan on the panel.
well, if they don't win this game, there's some big problems in Dallas. But I think the Falcons' defense is not as good as the Rams' defense. So I think the Cowboys will score more than 17 points. And the Falcons, I think the Cowboys have a good enough defense to stop the Falcons' offense, enough times to get the win. So in a shocker, Cowboys win. Shocker of a pick.
We'll now switch over to the NBA, talk about the bubble, into the conference championships. On the Eastern Conference side, Miami and Boston, your two teams over there. Miami just last night with a 106-101 victory over the Celtics to take the 2-0 series lead. And in the West, where there really is the shocker, is the Clippers lose their series to the Nuggets after a 3-1 lead, and now the Lakers and Nuggets get set for the Western Conference Finals. That one gets set to start tonight, Game 1 at 8 o'clock on TNT. We'll start on the Eastern Conference side. That series already underway. The 1 and 2 seeds both knocked out of the bubble. A little bit of parity in the NBA. I think we can attribute to that to being in the bubble. I think you take teams out of the bubble, maybe goes a little bit more chalk with the NBA, but it's made it interesting. The Heat, 2-0 series lead, in a good position to make their way to the NBA Finals. But for me, I think the Celtics still Down 2-0, still have an opportunity.
No.
Sam's shaking his head pretty
Absolutely
viciously
not.
over there.
Absolutely. This Heat team is exactly that, Heat. They are hot right now. And they are, honestly, I
You
think
proud of that one, Sam?
Yeah, man.
Thrilled.
I think-
Unbelievable. I did that like 3 times on the show
But-
yesterday, Sam, so you go ahead.
But this team is, I think they only have one loss in the playoffs.
Yeah.
One loss. And they are so good right now playing good team basketball. It's a different person every night. It's been Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo scored 21 and 10 last night. And I think they're sweeping the Celtics. I really do.
I don't think so. I think the Celtics at least.
Finally, Derek, you said something accurate. Good job.
I think. Thank you. I
You're
try
welcome, you're welcome.
I try sometimes, but I think the Celtics at least win a game or two in this series. I don't think they get swept.
Do you think they win this series? Though?
No, I don't. I don't think they win the series, but I don't think they're gonna get swept. I think they're gonna win at least a game or two.
Yeah, Heat win this series, and I'll say 6. Boston's not out of it yet. They're not. They're too good of a team to be out of it. But I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. The Heat, have the destiny kind of team this year. Every year you'll see a team that underdog team, not necessarily supposed to make it far in the playoffs. You see this in baseball every single year. A wild card team makes it all the way to the World Series. The Heat are that this year in basketball. As the 5 seed, you come in, you sweep the Pacers, then you beat the 76ers, and now you're here. So, I think the Heat, like Sam said, the Heat are on fire right now. And the Celtics have a shot in this series. I just don't think they'll win it.
For me, you look at the first 2 games. 1 game in overtime, 3-point win for the Heat. Second game, 5-point game. Celtics aren't out of this. It's not as though the Celtics are playing.
They can't close out the game though. They just can't.
It's not as though they're playing poorly.
They're not playing
So if they
poorly.
get that figured out, they're right in this series.
But I don't know if they can figure it out because the Heat know how to close games. The Celtics right now don't, and the Celtics are kind of coming unglued because last night after the game, Marcus Smart went into the locker room and screamed at everyone.
So that can do one of 2 things.
That
That can tear the team apart, or that can bring them all together and get
him
them ready to go.
Well, him and Jaylen Brown got into an argument, and I don't know if that's tearing them apart or bringing them together, but we'll see.
find out in
See.
game
That's
3.
what we'll see. That is reason it's their
Yeah.
locker room.
Yeah, we'll see on Saturday.
But I'm not quite sold on the Heat running away with this one yet. I think that 2-0 lead gives them a pretty good buffer.
I am sold.
But we
I
saw
bought
on the
it.
other side, especially in the bubble, and I don't think anything's safe right now because in this situation, you play this under normal circumstances. Those were 2 games, at the Celtics. Technically, now they're going to go play the 2 at the Heat, but they're in the bubble. There's no home court
closer to
advantage.
home.
So
Technically, Heat have home field advantage in this, closer to Miami than Boston.
right,
Or-
because
or-
so many fans can come in and watch and
Oh, yeah.
We got
affect
families.
the game.
We got
It's those
families,
video
kids.
fans, man.
Have you seen the pictures of those toddlers at
cause
the game?
problems.
They're into it.
Fired up.
Have you seen the pictures of the moms holding their babies at the games? They're into it. They're totally into it.
They're so fired up.
We are talking about the NBA playoffs here on
Are we?
KCLX LP Maryville.
Yeah.
We decided to start talking about babies there for a second.
Well,
but
they're the only fans that can watch this game.
Sam's looking for his family right now.
But I will agree with Sam. The Heat are playing like the better team right now, but don't count out the Celtics. I think that you figure out how to close a game, which if that's the issue, I think that's an issue that can still be corrected. If it's something else where you're getting blown out by 20 points both games, then you might have an issue. There's a scheme issue. There's a personnel issue. It's simply closing out games right now that's the issue, and that's something that
Well,
can be fixed. We'll see what happened after the incident in the locker room.
you mentioned, it's a personnel thing or whatever. If they're down by like 20 points, they're getting blown out. Well, the Nuggets on the other side have been able to figure out a way to combat being down that many points and still winning. So they did that a couple times against the Clippers.
Yeah, they ended up down 3 games to 1
Again.
again. Come back
And they came back again.
to win the series 4-3, and doing so, they did it with several a couple blowout wins. Down in the series 3-1, they win back last Friday 111-105, then go to last Sunday a 111-98 victory, and then in the elimination game a 104-89 victory over the Clippers. And you look at that, it's kind of as if the Nuggets just said, we're going to win this series, put their foot down, and just caused all sorts of problems with the Clippers. The Clippers with, at least on paper, way more star potential, players that should have been able to handle the moment. We saw them crumble, and I think we are seeing with the Nuggets, they've got a couple big-time, with Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, a couple players here that are working their way into NBA superstars.
Yeah, and I think, especially in the first series that they played, Jamal Murray has scored 50 points in a series, and he joined Donovan Mitchell and I think Allen Iverson and Michael Jordan as the only players to do that. And Donovan Mitchell did it in the same series as he did, so he is definitely, like, Nikola Jokic, I think, was already kind of a superstar, if not, like, he was the closest one. Now Jamal Murray has elevated his game in the bubble to join Jokic in that conversation. I think before the bubble, you'd think, oh, yeah, Jamal Murray's good, but he's not a superstar, and I don't think he will be. Now he will be.
I think now we can look forward with the Nuggets and the Lakers. I don't think everyone wanted Lakers Clippers. Paper, that'd be a lot of fun, but I think the Lakers Nuggets still may not end up being, in terms of when the series gets done, a close series, but I think we'll have close games in this series. I think the biggest issue for the Nuggets is they just aren't that deep. They've got the talent up top in the starting lineup, just not that deep. And against the Lakers team, I think you need that depth to consistently go out and beat a Lakers team. So, off my rocker, Derek. You're the guy in the new. You're new here.
Okay.
You haven't done one of these. So what we do when you're new and haven't done one, we make you go first.
Okay.
So what do you got for us?
I'm gonna go to baseball. I'm gonna pick the Miami Marlins.
But before we start with this, I'm scared about what's gonna happen
what?
here based on what? Yeah.
For what?
No, it's not a good start. I mean, it's a good start, but not a good start.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick the Miami Marlins to win the World Series.
Okay. Well, you've just
Because you want to know why?
You have-
You want to know why?
I like this.
you've
I like
knocked
this.
off
wanna
my
know
rocker out
why?
of the park.
Holy
You want to
heck.
know why? Because the one other time that the Miami Marlins were in the playoffs, you know what they did?
They didn't. They
They've
haven't.
You know
they've
what
been.
they did?
You know what?
They've
They
won
won the World
twice,
Series.
Twice.
They've been to the World Series twice.
Well, they won it 2 times then, and now they're going to
That's
win
right.
it
They've
third.
been to the world. They've been to the playoffs more than once, though.
Yeah, but
No,
still,
here's
they're
the
going to
thing with
win.
the
them.
Marlins. They've been to the playoffs 2 times. They've won the World Series both times they were there.
Yeah, exactly.
The 97
You know
and
what's
03.
going to happen? 3-peat.
So you're playing the
Unbelievable.
trends,
I'm playing the trends.
and you're not watching what's going on.
Hell no. I watched the Miami Marlins.
Do you?
I watched them last night actually, and I think they're gonna win.
Okay.
You know they've done what they had to get into the playoffs, and you know
You know
what? They're gonna win.
A team in Florida will, I think, come close to.
Of course you
Here
do.
we go.
Here we go.
A team in Florida.
Woo!
A team in Florida has a chance. It is not the Miami Marlins,
It's
though.
definitely.
my.
I like how he started, and then he decided he would change the verbiage to have a chance, not win.
Oh, that's what I was. I wasn't gonna say win.
Oh,
I thought about
sure.
it.
yeah,
I
you
thought about it in
sure.
my head.
But if you look at the NL, they're all close together.
That is true.
What about the
For-
team in California?
That
Southern
is true.
California.
Besides the Padres and the Dodgers,
Mm.
Besides
we
those
all
two
know the
teams.
Dodgers in the playoffs.
Don't remind me.
Slam
So-
Diego though is a good team.
But that's the only competition Miami sees is the Padres.
Okay.
I don't think they
Yikes.
see the Miami Marlins as competition.
Well, they're about to find out that they are.
I
Okay.
feel like you have missed the purpose of this segment. It's supposed to be crazy, outlandish takes that have an ounce of chance of happening.
There is an ounce of chance of this
It's
happening.
possible.
I mean, technically.
No, there's no technically about it.
Well,
Man. This
you
is
ma-
gonna happen. Watch.
I don't think there was an ounce of
Well,
chance of
they
happening.
still have to finish out the season and get into the playoffs anyways.
I think they're
that will happen.
They're going to make the
they're gonna
playoffs.
make the
They're the
playoffs.
5 seed right now. They're going to make the playoffs.
And you can
Unless
have
if
you can have
some-
a collapse.
Like,
If anybody can, it's the Marlins.
I mean, I feel like that would be a better rocker is that the Miami Marlins collapse and don't make the playoffs rather than win the.
Here.
Goodness.
I'll point out their schedule to you for their 60
No,
game.
we're done. Sam, what do you got?
No.
The Bills will win the Super Bowl.
The Bills.
Yes.
Well, so we've got the Marlins winning the World Series and now the Bills winning the Super Bowl.
That's got a better chance than the Marlins.
I think
It does.
no,
It does.
No.
I think there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a couple teams.
They have to play the Ravens and the Chiefs. That's a problem.
I think.
That's off my rocker, though, so you know.
I know. I'm trying to find a reason to say this is not completely crazy.
I think they win the division.
But the issue is I think you're looking at the 3 seed going into the playoffs.
Not bad.
And that's where the Bills are.
Sure.
Which means that first round, you don't have to deal with the Chiefs or the Ravens.
Good thing.
And so whoever ends up the 2 seed, which schedule-wise I think could be the Chiefs or the Ravens,
One of the two.
get one of the 2 on the road in round 2. But there's always that chance whoever's that 7 seed can mess around and beat the 2. I'm not going to say it's entirely impossible,
I'll take
but
it.
I'm going to
I'll take
say on paper having to probably beat the Ravens, the Chiefs, and then the Saints, Packers, whoever comes out of the NFC, beating those 3 teams in a row.
Hard to do.
Hard to do. I don't think it happens, but
I support you, though, Reeves.
Thank you. Thank you,
I know.
Derek.
it's a thinker. It's a thinker.
Jacob's just a hater for our picks.
I feel like last week I earned the right to go last.
Well, I want your opinion on Sam's off my rocker.
I think the Bills are going to obviously win the division, and it's
You don't
a lot.
like my Jets?
It's a lot better.
No.
No.
No, I was thinking more Patriots, Bills and Patriots.
Okay, no.
But I think they have a slight chance of possibly making the conference championship. Maybe the Ravens haven't had much success in the postseason, so if they can match up with them to get to the AFC Championship game, possibly. But they're not getting past the Chiefs. The AFC is the
I
Chiefs.
hope you're
to lose.
right. I hope you're right. Believe me.
I'm going to stick with the NFL for mine.
Okay.
Save this one. Didn't give it last week because I wanted to wait a week. This is definitely, I will preface with complete homer pick, so we'll pull the Sam Steinmeier here.
Yeah.
But Kansas City, the Chiefs.
Is there another Kansas City?
The
I just-
Royals.
I'm trying to be dramatic here, Derek.
Oh, sorry.
I'm trying to roll into this.
All right. I'll let you roll.
Kansas City wins the Super Bowl without losing a game the entire season.
Yeah.
It's not
They
going to
go
happen.
Yeah, they
undefeated.
do.
No, because they're going to lose to the Ravens. Maybe. I don't know.
The Cowboys will lose to the Ravens.
Do they play the
Cowboys-
Ravens?
I don't think so.
They play the Seahawks next week. They'll lose that game.
Yeah, they will. Wow, I like that one, Jacob.
Of course you like it.
You're off your rocker though. The Chiefs
If that
are gonna lose.
happens,
If that happens, I will be very thrilled. But no.
Can we, I think if there's
No.
a team that has the capability
It's
to
the
do that
Chiefs.
this season, it's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
but it's not going to happen.
We've seen in the NFL that's
Really hard
almost
to do.
impossible.
What
If
happened
Tom
once?
Brady can do it, Patrick Mahomes can do it.
Tom Brady
never
didn't
did
do it.
He almost did it, though.
Right.
The
The
only
only lost
team
to the
that-
Giants because a guy caught a football on his helmet.
The only team to
David
do it was the
Tyree.
1972 Dolphins.
Can you imagine the Dolphins?
Do you want
doing it
another
now?
one, Sam?
Hey, you know what?
The Cowboys go 0-4.
Well, that's not happening
Hey,
either.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, they do.
You know where the Dolphins are located?
Miami.
You know who's going to win the World Series?
The Mar-
Oh
Miami Marlins.
no! Oh no! I
Okay.
like that, Jacob. You're
I-
off the rocker. Good. I think you're off your rocker, but I hope you're on it. So there you go.
Sam,
Well,
you earned
yeah. I feel like
delegation of going last.
This one, yeah, I feel like this one actually. I don't know if it's more tame than last week or not,
Oh,
but
Well, that's not good.
You're
going last.
I'm gonna go to college football.
Okay.
Going to the SEC, the Missouri Tigers.
No.
The Missouri Tigers will start off the year. I originally said 2-0, but in my mind I'm like, that's way too far. So they will start the year 1-1. They will beat Alabama at home, but they will go to Death Valley and lose to LSU on the road. But they will
But they'll beat-
they will beat Bama at home.
Oh my!
They will beat Bama.
I think they have honestly a better chance of beating LSU than they do.
They will beat Bama.
Oh boy!
Faroe Field with the
Okay.
minimal crowd, if any crowd, will be rocking.
With Alabama fans.
What schedule are you looking at?
He smoked some of that cowboy juice earlier, so that's what he's on.
I took off my rocker for a reason, man.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Because according to what I'm looking at, they got to go play at
At LSU.
right.
And at home against Bama.
But there's this
They're home against Bama first.
right, and then they're at Tennessee and then at LSU.
Oh, I thought they were back-to-back.
So you're just overlooking a 15th ranked Tennessee team.
Okay, fine. Then they'll lose at Tennessee then, I guess.
So they're
So
going to
Sam
beat
thinks they're gonna
Alabama,
beat
lose
Alabama.
at Tennessee,
The
and then
main-
lose at LSU.
The main portion of this is they're going to beat Bama at home. They're going to beat Bama at home.
That's
okay,
that's
that- there we
absurd.
go.
That's absurd.
Yes,
in and of
very.
itself. Not happening. Sorry, Sam. I'm
I-
not
I
a
thought
Mizzou fan
LSU
at
was
all,
after
but I hope they do.
Bama.
I'm not a Mizzou fan at all. I don't like them. However, I hope they upset Alabama. I do. But no, not happening. Sorry. Off your rocker. Your rocker's broken. See you later.
Do I still earn the right to go last still?
Maybe.
I
Hey,
just
but-
like the fact that you were like completely overlooked Tennessee.
Well, yeah, because I don't look at the schedule, to be honest, because I don't
Well,
have
it's-
faith in
that's the
Mizzou.
Well, because that's a horrible way to start the season. Like it is brutal.
It is
That's
brutal.
awful.
It is a brutal way to start the
It's
season.
just
The
like the
SEC did them no favors.